Okay, so we have done income statement, we have done balance sheet, we have done cash flow statement, and we have done financial analysis techniques. And now we are moving on to inventories. So this whole reading is specifically about inventories. What is inventories? Inventory is the stock which you hold with yourself. That can be finished good, or that can be raw material, or that can be any other thing. Now, first key point to note with respect to inventory is that what is inventory cost and what is not an inventory cost. When we say inventory cost, where is inventory cost recorded? On balance sheet. What is it? It is an asset. And when we record an asset, it means that we are capitalizing the cost. So capitalizing means recording a cost as an asset on balance sheet. Otherwise, if we have an expense, that is known as expensing out cost, and that goes to P&L. Now, what cost should become a part of inventory and what should become a part of expense in P&L? That is something that you should know. So remember, any cost incurred in bringing the inventory into usable or sellable form is the part of inventory cost. Once you have made the inventory, then any cost beyond that or any expense beyond that is an expense. For example, I purchase raw material, it is required to make the inventory, so this is the inventory cost. I manufacture it, required to make the inventory cost. I package it, inventory cost. When I purchase raw material, I held it in warehouse and I stored it, storage cost is inventory cost. Uh, Now once I have made the inventory, now if let's say I am holding this inventory or storing it in my storage house, that is an expense, not inventory cost. If I am incurring any transport cost to transfer this inventory from my warehouse to distributor, that is expense. However, if I incur transport cost for raw material, for packaging material, that is inventory cost. So these all are inventory costs. Once you have made the inventory, then if you transfer it, store it, anything, then that is an expense. Any problem till here? Moving on, abnormal costs result. Some other costs which are expense are material wastage, wastage in labor or other production conversion inputs, storage costs, administrative overhead, selling costs. One key point to note is when we say wastage, there can be two types of wastage. There can be a normal wastage and there can be an abnormal wastage. Normal wastage is something which is normal and which you have taken into your costing. So that is a part of inventory cost. But abnormal wastage is not a part of inventory cost, that is an expense. So remember the difference. Normal wastage part of inventory cost, abnormal wastage expense. Next question is that how do you value inventory? So if you have the inventory, you have made the inventory, now you are selling it. So let's say you have 100 units. Which one should you sell first? Which one should you sell later? So with respect to this, there are four key methods: FIFO, LIFO, WAG, and specific identification or special identification. What is FIFO? First in, first out. That is what you buy first, you will sell first. LIFO, last in, first out. What you buy last will be sold first. Weighted average cost, that you take the average cost of the overall inventory and you sell it. Specific identification, that each unit will have its own value. So for example, this is used in, an example can be jewelry, in which each unit would have its own value. You cannot treat it as first in, first out or last in, first out. Let's say there are times in which prices are increasing or costs are increasing. If prices are increasing and you are using FIFO, then that means you are selling first the units which were purchased earlier. So when you are selling units which were purchased earlier, they will be at lower prices. And inventory is the recent one. If inventory is the recent one, that will be at higher price. If your cost of sales is lower, then your gross profit will be higher. On the other hand, for LIFO, it will be cost of sales higher, inventory lower, gross profit lower. In weighted average cost, it will be in between these. And for a specific identification, it doesn't matter. It would depend on what that particular item is. Any problem up till here? Another key point to note is that LIFO is not permitted under IFRS. So remember that key point as well. It is only allowed in US GAAP, not in IFRS. So in weighted average cost, what is the cost per unit? How do you calculate cost per unit? Cost per unit is cost of goods available for sale divided by total units available for sale. This is your cost per unit. And how do you find out cost of goods available for sale? That is beginning inventory plus what you purchased plus what you converted into inventory plus any other cost. So this is the total cost of goods available for sale. Any problem? So far very straightforward. Moving on, LIFO we discussed is not permitted in IFRS but is permitted in US GAAP. When you have LIFO, you are also required to report LIFO liquidation. Sorry, or LIFO reserve. What is LIFO reserve? LIFO reserve is that amount which is the difference between LIFO inventory value and FIFO inventory value. LIFO reserve is FIFO inventory value minus LIFO inventory value. So if you are given LIFO inventory value and you have LIFO reserve, you can come up with FIFO inventory value. If you are given FIFO and you have LIFO reserve, you can come up with LIFO inventory value. This formula is very important. Make sure you remember this. LIFO reserve is simply difference of these two. This simply tells you, if this simply helps you convert FIFO into LIFO and LIFO into FIFO. So if you are reporting in LIFO, you report LIFO reserve as well, so that if someone wants to convert it LIFO into FIFO, they just add it to LIFO reserve and they arrive at FIFO inventory value. LIFO reserve is simply difference between FIFO and LIFO inventory value. Generally, in increasing prices, LIFO reserve will be will tell you the reserve amount which you have extra compared to FIFO inventory value. So this is LIFO reserve. So if you have LIFO reserve, you can easily convert from FIFO to LIFO and LIFO to FIFO. Secondly, through LIFO reserve, you can also convert FIFO cost of sales to LIFO cost of sale and LIFO cost of sale to FIFO cost of sale. But the only difference is here you do not take LIFO reserve as it is, but instead you take change in LIFO reserve. Why? Because they are income statement items and this is a balance sheet item. So you take the change in LIFO reserve. So similar concept applies, only difference is that if I change it to change in LIFO reserve, then this will be FIFO COGS and LIFO COGS. This formula can be changed into this for changing FIFO cost of sales into LIFO cost of sales and LIFO cost of sales into FIFO cost of sale. So moving on, let's say there is a company which has 100 units of starting inventory. Then it purchased 20 units and sold 10 units. So it will have 110 units of ending inventory. In this case, generally its LIFO reserve will increase. Generally. Let's say there is a company. Why? Because this company has sold all the units from present period, and present period will generally have higher prices. So this company has generally this company has sold something from higher prices. So if it has sold from higher prices, if sales belong to higher prices, then inventory will belong to lower prices. If inventory belongs to lower prices, this amount of LIFO inventory will be lower, and if it is lower, LIFO reserve will be higher. So generally, if a company is selling what it is purchasing or less than that, then LIFO reserve will generally increase. On the other hand, let's say there is a company which purchased, which had 100 units at the start in beginning. It purchased 20 units and it sold 40 units. So remaining units are, or let's say sold 30 units. So remaining units are 90. In this case, it has sold 20 from current period, but 10 from earlier period. If it has sold something from earlier period, it means that it has sold something at lower prices. This is known as LIFO liquidation. You are liquidating your old units. And when would a company do this? A company may do this to inflate its gross profit. If a company is facing pressure on gross profitability, it wants to increase margin. What it might do is, in that period, it might not purchase new units, but instead use older units, because it knows that older units have lower cost, and so it can inflate gross profit. So yes, prices are increasing. If they are decreasing, then it will be opposite of it. But generally prices are increasing. And generally, when you see a large LIFO liquidation happening on any company, then the concern is that you should go and check whether that LIFO liquidation is in line with the strategy, or is it just to inflate the gross profitability. And then when you are analyzing gross profitability, you should make adjustment for this. So maybe a company's gross profit has suddenly increased by a significant amount, but maybe that is only because companies sold units from older prices. In next period, when it has to buy at new prices, then it will again contract. So just looking at the profitability is not enough. You should look at the reason for that profit. No, LIFO liquidation is, so FIFO, in FIFO you sell what you purchased first. So for example, here you first sold these 20 and then you sold 10 from 100. Had it been FIFO, you would have sold all 30 from 100. This 20 would have stayed with you. So in LIFO liquidation, you are selling LIFO through LIFO, but you haven't purchased enough. So some of those are coming in from older units. So that is means you are liquidating your older units as well. So that is liquidation. So when would a company do this? The company may do this to improve its profitability or manage its profitability. So with respect to LIFO reporting, analysts should have a key eye on LIFO liquidation, changes in LIFO reserve, so that they know that what is actually happening on the P&L or what is driving the profitability. Inventory cost is least likely to include. So least likely production related storage cost. Will this be a part of inventory? Production related storage cost. This is a part of inventory because without production you cannot make the inventory. So anything related before spent before turning inventory into a usable or sellable form, that is a part of inventory cost. Yes, cost incurred as a result of normal waste of material. Normal waste is a part of inventory. If it was abnormal, it wouldn't have been a part of inventory. Transportation cost of shipping inventory to customer. This is not the inventory cost. Had it been transportation cost of raw material, then it would have been a part of inventory. Mustard Seed PLC adheres to IFRS. It recently purchased inventory for 100 million and spent 5 million for storage prior to selling. Prior to selling means this is related to selling expense. Inventory, is it in usable sellable form? You are incurring storage cost for selling purposes. So this is a selling expense, not inventory cost. The amount charged to inventory expense, and by inventory expense means total inventory value, is 100 because you bought it for 100. Carrying inventory at a value above its historic cost. So generally, as we discussed earlier as well, as you generally take a conservative approach in valuation. If something reduces in value, you reduce it. But if it increases in value, you do not generally increase it. In IFRS, you are allowed to reverse the write down, but in US GAAP, you are not even allowed to reverse the write down or revalue. But with respect to inventory, remember, inventory is always valued at lower of historic cost or net realizable value. This is generally the case in inventory. But there are some exceptions. There are some products for which inventory's value can be written up or inventory can be revalued to a higher value. What are those? They include agricultural products because their value is very volatile, prices are very volatile. They include forest products, for example, trees, wood, and that, and minerals. For these items, you can revalue the inventory you recorded at the fair. You can record it at the fair value. Yes. So cost would most likely be permitted if inventory was held by a producer of agricultural products. Financial statements were prepared using US GAAP. Change resulted from reversal of previous write down. So if it was a change due to reversal of previous write down, it cannot go above historical cost. It will reach a maximum of historical cost. So A is your answer. Yes.
So just to recall something, any cost that is incurred after making the finished good
Is a part of
selling
is
cost.
not a part of inventory. It can be selling cost, it can be storage cost, it can be administrative overhead, it can be anything but not a part of inventory. That goes into P&L. It does not go into balance sheet.
Inventory cost will go into cost of goods sold, right?
Inventory cost goes in balance sheet and then goes into cost of goods sold. Eventually, when you sell it. So first you take it to balance sheet, then you flow it through P&L. In expense, you directly take it through P&L. You do not take it to balance sheet. The next question is that how do we record balance inventory? So for recording or how do we value inventory? For recording and valuation, we have two methods: periodic and perpetual. Perpetual means you continuously update inventory. So when you buy it, you record it. When you sell it, you record it. When you buy it, you record it. When you sell it, you record it. And the process continues. Periodic means you have set a periodicity. For example, you update it every month, or you update it every quarter, or you update it whatever the period is. Generally, it is a month. So how do you actually do this? In periodic system, quantity of inventory on hand is determined periodically. How do you determine ending inventory? You physically count it. What is cost of goods sold? Beginning inventory plus purchases minus ending inventory. You know your beginning, you know your purchases, you subtract ending inventory, that is your cost of goods sold. In perpetual system, inventory account is continuously updated. Purchase and sales of goods recorded directly in inventory as they occur. If you purchase something, you record it as an addition to inventory. When you sell something, you record it as a sell to inventory. Any confusion between these methods? A key point to note is both will give the same result for specific identification and FIFO, but will give the different result for LIFO and weighted average cost. So remember this key point. And here is an example to show it. So you have record of purchases and sales and inventory. So if you are using a periodic system in LIFO method, it was assumed that ending inventory. So if you look into it, they have told you that ending inventory is 80,000 units. If ending inventory is 80,000 units, which is this 80,000, then which price would it belong to? It would belong to historical prices or price from earlier period. Why? Because this is LIFO. Last in has been sold first. So this 80,000 would belong to the oldest price. And what is the oldest price? Oldest price is 110. So that means your ending inventory value will be 80,000 into 110. Had let's say had it been, for example, this is not 80,000, let's say it is ending inventory is, let's say 120,000. Then 100,000 would be valued at 110 and next 20 would be valued at 100, because 120 all of it cannot belong to 110. 110 was used to purchase only 100,000 units. What are ending inventory, cost of sale and gross profit amount using perpetual system and LIFO method? How do these compare with amount using periodic system? So using periodic system, your sales are simply total value multiplied by inventory. Sorry, total price multiplied by total sales. That gives you the total sales. Ending inventory amount multiplied by historic cost. So ending inventory is 80,000, historic cost is 110. These two multiplied would give you ending inventory. You have ending inventory, you know beginning inventory, so you can have cost of sales. How? Total sales were 520,000 and they are last in first out. When we say last in first out, it means first you sold these ones, right, at 90 rate, at the rate of 90. So 300 sold at the rate of 90. Then you use this one 100 at the rate of 100. So 200 sold at the rate of 100. This is 500. Now 20,000 are left. So those 20,000 are sold at 110. This means 20 into 110. When you do this, you will get 49.2 million. This is your cost of sale. You have sales, you have cost of sale, you take the difference and that gives you gross profit. So how did we calculate ending inventory? We calculated ending inventory by counting the inventory and then just multiplying it by the oldest value. Sales, simple. Cost of sales, we took the most recently paid prices and based on that we calculated cost of sales. Gross profit, difference between sales and cost of sales. Any problem here? In perpetual system, what do? In perpetual system, you perpetually update it. So what is ending inventory? Ending inventory comes out to be 7.6 million. Why? Because you do not multiply it with the oldest price, but instead you are valuing it at each and every level. So for example, first you purchased 100,000. This was your carrying amount. Then you sold 80,000. When you sold 80,000, 20,000 from this 100,000 is remaining. This is the carrying amount. Then you purchased 200. So when you purchase 200, this 20,000 relates to 110 plus 200 relates to new price. This becomes your price. So you keep on updating it at each and every transaction. And when you keep on updating it at each and every transaction, your answer would obviously be different. So your ending value here is 7.6 while here it was 8.8. So this is how LIFO would give different ending inventory values. If an ending inventory value is different, then cost of sales will be different and gross profit will also be different. How do you get cost of sale? It is cost of goods available for sale minus ending inventory. So if you have cost of goods available for sale, you subtract ending inventory, that gives you cost of sales. You subtract cost of sales from sales, you get gross profit. So if you look into it, gross profit is 74.4. Here gross profit is 75.6. So inventory value is different, gross profit is different. Why? Because it was LIFO and you used different recording methods. So different recording methods would give you different gross profit or different value of inventory for LIFO and for weighted average cost. For FIFO and specific identification, it wouldn't have any impact, no matter what method you use. So let's stop here.